Hey, I'm Bacon, and this is the fourth in a series on the innovations of Traveler, and it is absolutely a gimme. There are other topics that I'm going to cover in this series that require just a bit more work, but this one is very straightforward. It's modular starship design. So Traveler actually introduced the idea of a custom starship creation system, allowing players to design ships using component-based templates. Um, this is pretty, like I said, it's a gimme. It's only the second sci-fi TTRPG ever published. And the first one, Metamorphosis Alpha, you were in a generation ship. So the ship that you were on was more of the setting than an actual starship. It was where things happened. In Traveler, it was a method of conveyance that you could use to get from point A to point B. So why was it innovative? Because it was brand new, but I'm actually going to go into the details here. So one of Traveler's most innovative contributions to tabletop role-playing games was the modular starship design system. It was the first of its kind, period, full stop. There's no ambiguity here. Traveler was the first. The system allowed players and GMs to custom build starships by combining various components which balance trade-offs like space, power, and cost. And I'm going to break down the system's origins, mechanics, and long-term influence here. So the origin and design philosophy. When Mark W. Miller created Traveler, and it was published in 1977, he drew inspiration from hard science fiction or literature, particularly the works of E. Doc Smith. These are the science fiction. This is the science fiction literature that was drawn from for space travel. So this is Doc Smith, the Lensman series, which was known for enormous spacefaring vessels. H. Beam Piper, Space Viking, which depicted practical, functional ships for interstellar trade and combat, and Larry Niven and Jerry Purnell, The Mote in God's Eye, featuring detailed spaceship designs and other logistics of space travel. Miller sought to simulate a plausible starship construction and maintenance system where the laws of physics and economic limitations were as important as combat capabilities. The Little Black Books, or LBBs, introduced and that's the original Traveler publication, if you are unaware. It came in a box. There were 3 or 4 books. I can never seem to get that right. There were either 3 or 4 little black books, frequently referred to as the LBBs. They introduced a detailed and modular framework for designing ships. The core mechanics revolved around several modules that defined how a ship functioned. So there were the core components of starship design, the hull, which was chosen based on displacement tons, or D-tons, where 1 D-ton equals 13.5 cubic meters of volume. And hull sizes ranged from small shuttles, 100 D-tons, to massive capital ships, 1,000 plus. The jump drive, which enabled faster than light travel. The different modules of the jump drive determine the distance a ship can travel in one jump. So it was between 1 to 6. And drives consumed fuel proportional to the distance, 10% of hull size per jump number. The third core module was the maneuver drive, which governs sublight speed and thrust capacity, and that's measured in G's of acceleration. And the fourth one was the power plant, which provides energy for all ship systems, including life support and weaponry. It also used fuel equivalent to 0.01 D-tons per energy point. You probably don't need all that math. It's not really what I'm concerned with here. But as this is a gimme of a first for Traveler, it's a gimme of an innovation. I'm going to include a bit more detail here than I normally would to sort of just flesh it out. So after the core ship modules, there are additional ship modules, which are fuel tanks, which must hold enough fuel for both jump and normal space operations. The bridge, which was a minimum of 20 D-tons, and it scaled up for command and control needs. And then weapon systems, turrets with lasers, missiles, or particle beams, and spinal mounts for capital scale energy weapons. A cargo hold, or holds, determines trade capacity and defines merchant ships and staterooms, and each stateroom required 4 detons for crew or passengers. There was an economics to the Starship design. There were construction costs, so each component has a credit value, with ships costing millions of credits. Players often lease ships through a mortgage system, typically 40 years at 6% interest. This, I'm going to stop and express a personal pet peeve, because like if we're talking about faster than light travel, all you have to do is say, yeah, okay, I'll pay the mortgage, probably make good on your down payment or first payment, then just do a light speed jump to Jupiter and turn around and do a light speed jump back. And because of time dilation, like 4 million years will have passed, so you won't owe a dime on the rest of the mortgage. That's not how the game is played, obviously. But it's just a tiny little stupid little thing that I'm not going to say bothers me, but it certainly makes me laugh. There were also operational costs in the economics of Starship. So maintenance was equal to 0.1% of the ship's value monthly. And refueling costs, but they varied. So ships with fuel scoops can gather free fuel from gas giants. So you can get it for free if you have the fuel scoops. Otherwise, you'll have to buy it. Traveler's Starship design allowed for complete player customization, which was absolutely revolutionary in 1977. You could design specialized ships for combat or exploration or trade. You could hybridize them. You could prioritize between speed, firepower, cargo capacity, and you could also retrofit existing hulls with new technology. For example, a free trader, which is a type of ship, which is 400 detons, could be optimized for long-range cargo haul, while a Corsair could favor heavy weaponry and high-speed maneuverability. And this is really, these concepts are interchangeable. You could do this with any ship that you like. So the legacy of Traveler's Starship design, I'm going to phrase it this way. Traveler's modular approach has likely influenced numerous TTRPGs and video games. So some of those TTRPGs that it likely influenced is Stars Without Number in 2010, which uses a mix of procedural generation and modular ship construction. And then the Cepheus engine, which came out in 2017, which is an open source retro clone of the Traveler system. So Traveler directly influenced this, as it is the preservation of the original mechanics that Traveler published in 1977. Some video game adaptations that were possibly inspired by Traveler is Elite from 1984, which has a focus on modular trade ships and space travel economics. No Man's Sky from 2016, which uses procedural generation for both world building and ship customization. And Starfield in 2023, which is from Bethesda, and their starship building mechanic is very modular, and it likely was influenced by Traveler. I haven't been able to find anywhere in any interviews that say yes, it was directly, but I would be shocked to discover that it wasn't at least in part influenced by Traveler. So why was it revolutionary beyond the fact that it was just absolutely brand new as a concept? So player freedom. Players could create unique ships reflecting their characters' needs and playstyle. Hard sci-fi realism. It emphasized mass, power consumption, and economic feasibility. And then the open-ended nature of adding a modular ship system, because it allowed GMs to shape their world through the custom vessels. You could do derelicts or pirate fleets or whatever it is that you needed in the moment to craft. You could do so and tailor it to the experience as a reaction of the world to the player's actions. So I'm going to end it here. Obviously, there's a lot more detail to go into, but as far as the innovations of Traveller, it was definitively the first tabletop role-playing game to ever conceive and execute on a modular Starship design for players and GMs alike, or at all. Period. Full stop. So again, I thank you for watching. I'm going to dive more into Traveller in the coming week. I appreciate your viewership. Please do like and subscribe if you've gotten this far. I thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.